So you've probably heard of Ethereum's currency, right? ETH. But here's the thing. Knowing about ETH is kind of like knowing about a car engine without ever seeing the car. The actual technology behind it all is a way, way bigger story. And it's a story that could totally change how the internet as we know it works. So let's pop the hood and see what's really going on in there.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to separate the money from the machine. Then we'll zero in on the single most important part, smart contracts. From there, we'll zoom out to see the incredible world that's been built on that one idea, check out what's coming next, and finally, tie it all together to see why this whole thing is so much more than just another cryptocurrency.
Okay, first things first. To really, truly get what Ethereum is all about, we have to push aside the first thing that probably jumps into your head when you hear the word crypto.
This is the big question, isn't it? Is this just a Bitcoin wannabe? And the answer is a very clear, very definite no. Not even close. Yeah, they use some similar tech under the hood, but what they were built to do? Well, they're worlds apart.
And here's the absolute key difference. Bitcoin was designed to be one thing, digital money, a new way to send value from person to person. Ethereum, on the other hand, was built to be a kind of global, programmable computer that anyone can use. So you should think of Bitcoin like digital gold, but think of Ethereum more like a foundation, a digital bedrock for building brand new things.
And this all happened incredibly fast. The whole idea was dreamed up back in 2013 by a programmer named Vitalik Buterin. Just 2 years later, in 2015, the network was live and developers could start building on it. Fast forward to today, and it has absolutely exploded into this massive global platform.
So how in the world did that happen? How did it go from an idea to a global platform so quickly? Well, it all boils down to one core concept, and I mean it. If you understand this one thing, you'll understand Ethereum. This really is the aha moment.
Okay, so what is a smart contract? Don't let the fancy name fool you. It's really just an agreement, but instead of being written on paper, it's written in computer code. And this code lives on the blockchain. Once you set the rules, it just runs. When the conditions are met, it executes automatically. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can change it. The code is law. And that right there has a massive implication, a huge one. Because if the code enforces the rules, you don't need to trust the person on the other end of the deal. You just have to trust the code. This means we can get rid of the middlemen, the banks, the lawyers, the brokers that we've always needed to make sure everyone plays fair. The easiest way to think about it is like a simple vending machine. Step 1, the rules are coded into the machine. If you put in $2, you get a bag of chips. Step 2, you meet the condition by putting your money in. And step 3, the machine automatically executes the agreement. It gives you the chips. There's no cashier needed, right? A smart contract is just a much, much more powerful and flexible version of that same idea. So once developers got their hands on this powerful new tool, this idea of a smart contract, it just unleashed a complete explosion of new possibilities, an entire universe of them. And these new possibilities are what we call dApps, which is short for decentralized applications. Now think about the apps on your phone. They all run on servers owned by some company, like Google or Meta. dApps are different. They don't run on any single company's server. They run directly on the Ethereum network itself, supported by thousands of computers all over the world. And this has created such a vibrant ecosystem. You've probably heard of DeFi, or decentralized finance, which is trying to build a totally open financial system. We've all seen NFTs completely change the game for digital art and collectibles. And now we're seeing brand new kinds of gaming platforms and ways to manage our digital identities, all built on this single foundation.
But the story definitely doesn't stop there. To get ready for the future, Ethereum recently went through a massive, massive upgrade. It was all about tackling some of its biggest challenges so it could keep growing. So the network switched from a system called proof of work to a new one called proof of stake. The old way, proof of work, was basically a giant global math competition for powerful computers, and it used a ton of energy. The new way, proof of stake, works completely differently. It secures the network by having people lock up their own ETH as a sort of security deposit. It's a fundamental change that makes the whole network faster, more secure, and way, way more energy efficient.
And when I say way more efficient, I am not exaggerating. Get this, the switch to proof of stake cut Ethereum's energy consumption by over 99.9%. That's not a typo. It was one of the single largest decarbonization events of any industry ever. Pretty wild. Okay, so we've gone through the tech. the apps, the big upgrade. But at the end of the day, what's the point? Why does any of this really actually matter? Well, the big vision here is to build a more open, a more fair, a more accessible digital world for everybody. It's about creating financial services that anyone can use, not just a select few. It's about letting artists and creators connect directly with their audiences. And it's about giving us, the users, real control over our own data and our digital lives. It's really a blueprint for an entirely new phase of the internet. And at its heart, it all comes down to this one powerful idea: enabling innovation without centralized control. For, basically all of modern history, progress has been funneled through gatekeepers, banks, governments, big tech companies. The goal of Ethereum is to create a platform where anyone, anywhere in the world, can build the next cool thing without having to ask for permission first.
And that leaves us with one final and kind of huge question. It might sound a little over the top, but when you really think about the scale of this ambition, a global, open, permissionless platform for building new applications and new forms of value, it really makes you wonder, are we actually watching the foundation of the next internet being built right here, right now?